Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Shafiu Suleiman. Zamfara, which originally is an APC enclave, slipped out of the grip of the ruling party courtesy of an in-house fight between the then Governor Abdulaziz Yari and Senator Kabiru Marafa in the build-up to the 2019 elections. This led to factionalization of the party that climaxed with the conduct of parallel state congresses by the two camps. Little did they know that their action would cost the party, which polled 534,541 votes, to defeat the PDP, which came a distant second with 189,452 votes, its victory as a result of improper election of the party's flag bearer at the election. The Supreme Court judgment eventually upturned the election based on the technicalities, transpiring victory to Governor Matawalle of the PDP and 24 other PDP State House of Assembly members. Candidates then. They were later tagged as Supreme Court governor and lawmakers. Now that Governor Matawalle has made a U-turn back to his supposed political roots, the AMPP, aim of the APC merger, and subsequently succeeded in uniting the major gladiators who are also originally from the Yarima political dynasty. How would that impact the political direction of the state come 2023? Can the PDP, with its emerging generation of politicians, set its footings on the state's political landscape in the coming election? What will be the deciding factor of the electorate in Zamfara State with regards to who runs their affairs? To discuss these issues and more, we are joined by Honorable Suleiman Gumi, a member of the House of Representatives. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're also joined by Dr. Mikaelu Barau, an APC member and coordinator of Senator Marafa Advocacy and Reform Team. He joins us via Zoom. Welcome to the program.
Thank you much. It's a pleasure.
Okay, now let's take a short break. We will be back shortly to commence the program proper. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. It's still Daily Politics. And of course, today we're looking at the Zamfara politics and the 2023 elections. And just like I said, we have two guests, one in the studio and the other is joining us via Zoom to give us their perspectives on the permutations around the politics of Zamfara State. Let's start with Dr. Mikael Barau, a member of the APC in Zamfara State. Dr. Mikael, if you're there, let's start with you. The Zamfara APC has been having, a running battle uniting its fold with the factions of Marafa and that of Yari, and of course, all of them, Yarima, the other camp and all of that. Trying to assert their political relevance in the state. Now it appears there is some sort of unity after the reconciliation that went on. But some say it's more like a piece in the graveyard. It is neither here nor there. These gentlemen are yet to be seen working very closely. How would you describe the reconciliation and what impact is it making in uniting the folds of the APC?
Again, much opportunity. And I think you have given an excellent background to the situation, talking about, to use your word, how the gladiators have come together to make peace and within the platform of APC. That is it. One thing that whatever has a beginning, it looks like with this level of that happens, it's like the tussle in EC is the state has come to an end. It's something that's lasted for literally 5 years now, beginning from 2018 through the 2019 election. It continued all the way to the moment somewhere around mid deal was actually struck. Talking about although under Rima and people like Senator Marafa, who really of that, and of course people like Senator Ensado was also said to be independent in different ways, have all come in one platform. So this is to say that all the former governors of the political organization starting in 2019 are now within the same without any camp or any rancor. Senator Ahmed Sadi Bakura, be it former Governor Mafi, and of course former Governor and then of course the present Governor, his Dr. Bello Muhammad Batawal Maradun. So the same party. But I can also say all the living and serving senators of the state are also within the same party. So on of the reconciliation, we have started seeing the dividend of that, in the sense that Zamfara, that is used to be known for a lot of rancors in its practice and other political engagement, had the APC gubernatorial primary convention on the choice of the flag bearer for APC without any issue. This is an example of the whole atmosphere within the party and within the state overall. And this program is about policy, politics, and governance, as you said. And this has also started yielding some really good results in terms of policy. You have had the new policy in which the state governor has really announced that facing the security challenge in the state requires community action and self-protection. And
Dr. Mikael,
of all the stakeholders in the state. So we have started seeing the effect of that, and they are all part and parcel of the rest going on.
So Dr. Mikael,
this is something that we truly advocate for, and we are happy that it is here.
You seems to I mean, what we are saying is that you're beginning to get the desired result in terms of the unity within the party and what have you. But the concern is that in the first place, this coming together of this party chieftains, was it even in the interest of the people, or as a result of their efforts, you know, to be relevant in the political scheme in the state, which some say is largely not producing the results in terms of governance, but I mean, it's more like chieftains on the same, you know, fold coming together to continue to milk the state dry. What would be your response to that?
And that is exactly where I stop. The and the policy. And that is why I mentioned the point of the present security resolution of the state, which has the massive support of all the stakeholders. These two policy and politics, tell you that in chicken and egg relations, in having the actors well positioned and of course serving the states. One needs to grab the political power to be able to provide any service that is required. And people that are known to be patriotic in their own right, and they have contributed immensely to the development of the state. But for the reasons of whatever happened in that they have now realized the challenge and the implications of that, and they have come together. So it's ultimately about the interest of the state. And as I said, we have really started seeing the results of that.
Talking about interest of the state, beyond what you just mentioned, that is the recent decision by the government, to take some certain bold steps against the insecurity that is ravaging the state. There is a concern that in terms of governance, the people of Zamfara state are not getting the desired result. I don't know whether you can, using concrete, explanation or concrete examples, talk about how the state is is being impacted by this coming together of these political groupings.
Okay, so the ultimate deal, as I said, was signed in and sealed in May this year. We are in July, and it will be really ambitious to begin to really say that in concrete terms, these are the gains. But challenging as that is, I can tell you that the atmosphere in Zamfara is calm. And stability is to a state that has been really faced with the kind of turbulence we had at the state. So that stability is essential, really.
Okay.
So we have gotten that. That is one. Now, we all know the economic situation of the country. I am a type of politician that doesn't believe in handouts. But in a situation whereby you have a state of poverty and that is a global thing, so to speak, where you have people that can put heads together, mobilize resources, and support the masses, then that is really something to appreciate. And you may know, for example, that sometime during the Ramadan, the former governor Abdulaziz Yari, that was really in the news, and this was launched by Senator Murafa, provided assorted grants worth 2.2 billion naira and distributed to the state. And this distribution was done just for part of it was given to IDPs, and a civil society cycle of mostly academics, professionals, was trusted with the distribution of more than 40% of that supply. And you can hear the testimonies in different respects. And the same thing is happening in the moment. I know for sure that the resources that are being mobilized to help the poor and the masses are really enormous. So in a situation like this, of course,
okay,
social protection, and this is being provided by this kind of cooperation and peace that is happening.
Okay,
but
Honorable Suleiman,
actually, what we have would be really much better and brighter than what we are seeing today.
Okay, Honorable Suleiman, you've heard what Dr. Mikael is saying with regards to how the political atmosphere in Zamfara is now calm as a result of the reconciliation among the chieftains of the APC. He talked about, he did say that actually the coming together was in the interest of the people. He cited some, level of progress that were made in the area of supporting, and empowering the people, supporting them with some assorted, grains and what have you. You heard him also talking about the issue of poverty being a global, if you like, or a national phenomenon, what have you. As a major opposition party in Zamfara State, first of all, let me get how you are feeling with regards to the mandate, which originally belongs to the PDP, and now with the defection of the incumbent governor to the APC, PDP seems to be on the edge. How are you coping with this, dynamics? The fact that power has eluded your party, and then you're also on the edge in terms of you don't also seem to provide a viable opposition, so to speak. What exactly is happening?
Well, thank you very much. The good doctor spoke a lot about how good the union is and what have you.
And what value it is bringing to the people.
I am honestly, it's just a confirmation of our suspicions that this union is not a holy union. It's a union made for one selfish interest.
And what that interest
political might to win elections, nothing more, not in the interest of the people. The defection of the governor to APC has shifted the dynamics in the state. At the same time, there is a counterbalance. Now, in the whole of Nigeria, you don't have an opposition candidate that has 7 serving House of Reps members contesting alongside with him. That says a lot. And part of the 10 legislators we have, both in Senate and House of Reps, is only one senator is contesting with him. I don't want to...
Are you insinuating that the state is gradually tilted towards one-party state?
Yeah, I think that's the whole idea, which is not healthy politically. You cannot kill the opposition because you just want to maintain power. What's the point? Like the governor was, I think his intention was clearly stated by him himself when he said before members of the community would go to him for problem, if they don't get it solved, they move to the next politician and so on and so forth. That now all the politicians are in one place and there's nowhere for you to go and cry. You see,
when did he? This is a very big statement.
Yes.
When did he make such a leader?
It's on the media. It's during one of their occasion when they came
Perhaps
together
maybe
to celebrate.
He was quoted out of context.
No,
is a leader for all, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's the point. You see, the intention matters. If you are doing it for the sake of the people, what has stopped you from helping the people within the first three and a half years you're in governance? You see, it's not about people. This is 21st century. People are aware of what is going on. All the policies that he implemented are all half-baked policies that are not yielding anything after 3.5 years. Now, bringing all this,
policies are you talking about?
You see, first of all, the peace treaty he tried to initiate, which he did not think about it all through. You have two people fighting. You're telling one side that you have control over to drop their arms, and you're leaving one side to rearm and regroup. And now the equilibrium is distorted. Now you want to fight them, and you're asking people to go and arm themselves, put certain conditions that are not favorable to the same people you want them to defend themselves.
Are you saying that there is deficiency in policy formulation or a policy kind of somersault?
You see, yeah, exactly. Half-baked policies, not well thought through politics. That's what he's been doing, and the people are the ones suffering all this calculations in political policies, and people are trying to vote against that. Now, having all the gladiators in one side doesn't absolve the government itself from its responsibility.
But are you providing the necessary opposition, the vibrancy that should come with an opposition political party in the state. Most of these issues you're talking about, are not being heard. You don't seem to be providing policy alternative to the incumbent government. For an opposition party, you should be able to also say, this is how it should be, and so on, beyond just criticizing.
Yeah, you see, these are forums where you can air out, because you're in an opposition party. You cannot go to the governor and say this and that. If he would not even listen. But the thing is, you have forums like the media to say them, and we are saying it. We are constantly telling these policies are not good. You're having people displaced from their homes, no place to go to. You allow them, suffer the consequences of the banditry. People are constantly being eroded off their economic livelihood, and this problem is going to define 2023 election. The lack of security, the
lackadaisical will cash in. Is that what you're saying?
You see, we should not be playing politics with the lives of people. And now bringing all these people together in order to win election, and you're saying, like the good doctor is saying, now we are seeing the dividends of democracy. You see, that's pure politics with the lives of people, then which should not be so. You see, there's a movement now, youth. They are trying to take over governance. And this growing movement, Zamfara state is not.
How is the movement?
Zamfara is not any different.
In Zamfara?
Yeah, Zamfara is not any different from the rest of the country. You see, if you look at the opposition now, the governor, the gubernatorial candidate, is a young, vibrant, untainted candidate, someone that has the wherewithal to organize a very good government. He's well experienced, well educated. These are the things we want with our governance. And the youth are aware of this, and they are seeing it. And if the atmosphere in Zamfara is calm, yes, I agree with that, because the gladiators that were playing politics with the security are now in one side. So we have to have calm.
You mean they are playing politics with the security?
Oh, yes.
Are you doubting their capacity to handle the situation, or are you saying there is complacency in it?
Now, when there was good opposition, you can hear people cry about the sufferings of the people. But now there is silence. People are being killed, and nobody is saying anything except the opposition. Now, this same gladiators that are in one camp now, what are they saying? Nothing. They are quiet, and people are suffering on the ground. And the only people speaking out on behalf of the people is the opposition party, the PDP. So I believe all this will culminate to victory for PDP, because the APC is now a house of commotion.
House of commotion,
yes.
In spite of the unity. Okay,
yes.
Let's get Dr. Michael to respond to these issues you raised. Dr. Michael, you've heard Honorable Suleiman talking about the lack of direction of your administration, the APC administration in Zamfara, coming up with policies that are half-baked, that are not well thought out, talking about marginalizing the youths, talking about, shortchanging the people. The gladiators are only interested in, power and not coming together in the interest of the people, and so on. How would you respond to this?
Really very interesting. I didn't know that it was Honorable Suleiman that will be my interlocutor in this session. But when I realized that it's him, I feel so good, because I feel there is someone talk reason and logic and agree on common grounds. So it's deeply appreciated that in any way. But I have some counter explanations to provide. One, talking about the maize that the governor has done or is doing. Honorable Suleiman and Co. have been the governor for all the periods since 2019 until May this year. And that is when all the right was right. he was with them in and realized that the popularity is not there. The 500 and votes were real, and they were sustained against some 80 plus thousand votes were real. So he moved and into APC. Of course, the wrong way at time. And he moved with them. And while he was in APC, he still realized that being in APC actually did not solve the problem. So they were all with him through those days. And that was the so he came to APC with the process. And then these actors said, no, we are not a problem with you joining the APC, but let it be through our proper channels. And throughout this time, people like Honorable and with the governor. So when he realized that the only solution was to do the right thing with these people and agree on what is actually the best decision political configuration. And that is when some of the serving members of the National Assembly had to really consider their seats, because the real politicking has now come to stay, which is not in line with the judgment of the appeal as at that time. So it is this kind of disappointment and frustration in a way. I really wish they could be patient and be more gamely in the engagement. And all of them, out of protest, actually decided to leave the party. So
are you saying it is not
simple
out of
explanation is that
principle?
throughout the period of this mess, they have actually been.
Dr. Mikhail,
The second point.
are you saying it was done not out of
point.
principle? We've seen how the deputy governor decided not to defect to the APC because he believed that the mandate of the people was given under the platform of the PDP. And he felt, defecting to APC would not be in the best interest of the people. And he decided to remain there based on principles. And very few of them also decided not to go. Are you accusing them of, are you saying that what they did was not the right thing to do in the circumstances like this?
Yeah, if you place them on the scale of principle, actually they don't weigh in any way like the deputy governor. This why some people felt that he could have been the ticket bearer of actually their gubernatorial seat, but that is their own business really to manage. The state deputy governor then who took that stand, actually we really wish that those members of National Assembly him at that time until when the was not served and they left. This I would like to address the flag bearer for people, which for me like a big brother speak, and at personal level I don't have any problem. But politics is about engagement and about working with stakeholders, and you don't really see those stakeholders around that. Talk about the experience. The best we know about that flag bearer was being an executive director of a bank. He never was in real public life. If some people are saying that actually the devil you know better than the angel you don't know. And more so if this person has not yet rolled out any manifestos. I have not heard any address he made that I will say is convincing enough that this person can take this. I'm not saying any lot to convince me that yes, this make the difference. So it's a big gamble. So rather, we rather work with the governor that we can predict, we can really sit down and polish, and that is already happening because the governor is really being engaged, and we have started that as earlier.
Well, even though Honorable Suleiman was actually talking about the wave of change, the wave of, the dynamics are changing, youths are taking over, and of course, technocrats. We'll talk about that. It might be a greenhorn, as you said, but maybe he has something to offer. We'll get to hear that from Honorable Suleiman when we return. In case you're just joining us, the program is Daily Politics, and we're looking at the Zamfara politics and 2023. And I've been interfacing with Honorable Suleiman Gumi, a member of the House of Representatives, of the People's Democratic Party in Zamfara State. I've been also talking to Dr. Mikael Barau, a member of the APC in Zamfara State. We will take a break. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Thank you very much for staying with us on Daily Politics. And today we're looking at Zamfara politics and 2023. Just before the break, Honorable Suleiman, you've heard, Dr. Mikael talking about the lack of, the fact that your flag bearer, is more like a greenhorn, when it comes to issue of politics, that he hasn't been providing the leadership, the charisma that would even attract the people in the state. He's also talking about the fact that most of you were actually with the current administration before you defected, to your respective parties, and then you were making issues now that you are no longer with the party. Let me get your perspective on the first, the first issue he raised, that PDP in Zamfara does not present any threat, perhaps, to the APC. Does it?
I think that's a matter of opinion. As it is, PDP Zamfara is providing the real opposition movement that is required for an opposition party. We have the right candidates in place, and when you say experience is subjective. The candidate is well known around the world for his achievements in the banking sector. And everyone knows the banking sector is an organized sector that for you to get to the rank of management, you must have gone through processes. And these processes is what we are lacking. When you have a governance when you have governance of people being carried out on impulse. Today you wake up and you decide we'll just go for negotiations. Tomorrow you wake up and you say, let everybody defend himself. How? Have you thought about all these things? And you don't expect such from a banker, a seasoned banker, someone that would have to calculate. He has not rolled out all his mandates. You understand? It's because he's planning. He's there with his team. We have almost 7 months to election.
But what he is saying is that perhaps you are not. There's no much engagement, especially of the people. And then
the polity in Zamfara now, where primaries are conducted very early, and so we have like 6 to 7 months for politicking to get to elections. You don't just start jumping into conclusions. Things are changing. The situation is very dynamic. Now the security situation now is escalating, even nationwide. You have to plan. You have to look at things holistically. Security approach is not a one state affair. It's a regional affair. Now, you don't expect a candidate to just come and say, I'm going to solve this problem. He has to consider all the factors. So for him to, economic activities, education, what have you, there has to be a well thought through process before you dole out anything, you know. At the same time, even the current government in Zamfara State has not rolled out any good policy to see that, we're going to see changes in after 2023. And if experience is what we are going to go by, Zamfara State has not developed economically. Our youths are not doing very well educationally because the system is down, even though security has contributed so much to it. But even when you look at even the 2023 budget, how much has the government budgeted for 2023 on education, on health?
But
you see, all these things would tell you that we're just moving on impulse, no clear policies.
But beyond policies, what he's saying is that you don't have the crowd on your side. Perhaps the politicians, the political class are not on your side because they don't think there's anything
you might have gladiators
can offer. For
you might have gladiators in one area, but are the people happy with even the gladiators? That's what you don't know. When you go to the local people, right now as it is, you cannot go to a village and tell them that you are from APC. Why? Because they're angry. People are angry at the government because of the lack of care, because of the lack of impact on their lives. You know, and that's what you should look at. You see.
So how are you positioning?
There are two things in politics. We have the gladiators, the people that are governing, and you have the masses. Now, where are the masses? That's what you should ask.
So what? Yes, but then what confidence are you building? What is the interaction? How are you engaging the people also talking about this? Even though it is not yet time for campaigns, for instance, but it should be seen to be, bridging the gap, so to speak. If there is
ongoing.
If there is a disconnect between the government and the people.
That is ongoing. You know, this is a phase where politicking is done on the ground. It's not open. Then when the time comes and INEC says, go, you can start campaigning or whatever, then the obvious would be seen by people. But right now, the atmosphere in Zamfara is that the masses are not happy with the government. And that would amount to victory for opposition parties that have set the right ball running, you know. The issue of the campaign and being with the governor, and you see, you can take a horse to the river, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water.
And that's right. Okay.
You see, so us being with the governor doesn't mean that we can impact on his decisions, because he's the governor and we are legislators and we are the party. He's just one party. You see, from the get-go, his ambition was to make sure he comes back, he gets re-elected, and he based on the happenings in the state, all the gladiators are on one side, and he has to come and join them in order to win. That's his thinking.
Okay.
But you see, this is a governor that God gave this seat with all his 24 state assembly members, with all 7 House of Reps members, and with all the 3 senators, you know, under him. And if he cannot work to build a momentum to win 2023 election, I don't think joining opposition party and uprooting people from their seat to occupy them would make you win 2023 election.
Okay, now talking about the issues on ground, because that is what is fundamental. You talked about how there is a disconnect between the people in government and, of course, the people, the ordinary people. Zamfara, is one of the states harboring, high indices of poverty, deficiency in education, declining education, poor health care, and so on and so forth. But then you don't seem to be engaging some of these issues very closely, perhaps providing solutions or talking about what should be the direction beyond what we're seeing today on ground in Zamfara.
Yeah, you see, the time to roll out new policies or whatever manifesto we have is not yet time for that. You know, we are still on our planning stages. We are still studying. We are still trying to create the right policies that would take the Zamfara out of its trajectory right now. You see, but going by what is happening in the state, there is total disconnect between the people and the government. Total, you know, and all the policies we are seeing are not geared towards changing the issues that matter. Like you rightly said, education. What is the government doing on education? What is the government doing on healthcare? What is the government doing on empowerment, empowering the people to be on their feet, you know? And all attention is on security, and the security matter is, yes, you can plan to end the violence, which will bring
nothing
comfort to the
happens
people.
without security.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fundamental.
But at the same time, you don't put on hold other things because there's no security.
Right. Okay, let's hear Dr. Mikael. Dr. Mikael, you've had the issues raised here. The incumbent government of Matawalle is focusing largely, or is banking on its alliance, so to speak, with the political gladiators in Zamfara, and thinking that that will be, I mean, a sure way or an easy way, you know, to retain the mandate. Beyond looking at the issues in the state, he did say that there is a serious disconnect between your government and the people of Zamfara state. We talked about, you know, the indices in terms of poverty, in terms of education, in terms of insecurity, and so on and so forth. How are you responding to this as a government in Zamfara state?
My heart bleeds at the situation in Zamfara state from every side of it. But this is an accumulation of issues of governance at different levels. The period of 2-3 years when Governor Matole led, actually, you know, we have really been at parallel points with him. And that means that as at that time, we had policy and governance and this works in speaking to how things were not really going right. Last 2 months since we joined up together, of course, don't forget that is a political season, primary. That for me, there is a documented evidence of an granted on the same program. I talk about the success that comes with this peacemaking. Of course, that it is not the end, but a means to an end. And the aim is having massive policies roll out. And I spoke about 3 immediate things that time, and 2 of them have actually received attention. One of them, you can't do anything without improving the security situation. And what we are seeing now is coming back to this community approach to self-protection, which for me I've spoken and written about, that it is the only way. A group of people being in certain can is the powers that are vested in our communities. Part of my radical that fact communities be sustainable, that smaller communities that we see around with 1,000 or 2,000 we need to restructure that. Somebody will say that they are farming, but this kind of subsistence farming is not really something that we look forward to as a civilized society. So we need to restructure that. But this is just to say that security has been an issue of concern, and we talk about it. And second one is that time was when students will come to senior secondary school to write their examinations, and that will be held when even certainty of writing the exam was not there. As part of the government, we put a lot of pressure. You know that this is a trend in northern Nigeria. Kano had a number of their students unable to write the examination, but in Zamfara State, we made sure that that was really avoided. We were very explicit in our statement that this should not happen, even though we are part of government. One of the points I made was on the state of our state university, which is in Zamfara, my local government, that something really about the future of that university. And the team that is assigned to support the university technically, recruit and working on. So these are real policy issues. And we look forward to this farming season, ensuring that fertilizer is provided so that some support is received from agricultural perspective and whatever. So this is within 2 months. So you can perhaps what happened.
You're talking about fertilizers.
Actually,
Have you secured the farms?
But it's about a state that has suffered and is bleeding, and really the situation needs to be arrested.
Yes, you're talking about providing an enabling environment for farming activities to continue to take place. But a number of people are displaced, of course. Farming communities, so to speak. The farms are not habitable. People are afraid to go to the farms. And talking about, addressing challenges, the security challenges. Some would say you also need to look at addressing, social issues that are also contributory to the rise in criminalities that we are seeing. How much are you doing in terms of changing the narratives in terms of the development deficit that is being experienced in the state?
It is a known principle in social when elites together for good, a lot of positive things happen. So talking about what is called elite consensus. And this is exactly what is happening in Zamfara. Those actors clothing their rank, that is there. And you talk about social cohesion. And the whole thing about social cohesion is about the elite, is about actors themselves. What could be better than having all the former governors and no rancor anymore?
Is it the consensus? Is the consensus? Well, yes. Is the consensus built?
It's an important requirement for progress, and already we are seeing the dividend of that.
Okay, let's go back.
Must all the gladiators be on one plate for security policies to be implemented?
But you're talking about elite consensus around, guaranteeing.
Yeah, you see, we're talking about
security.
That's why I'm saying we should stop playing politics with the lives of people. Why does a political union? Why must it hold for security policies to be well implemented to save people's lives? You see, it's not about party issues when you come to security. The governor should have invested his time to do the right thing, consulted. You see, I'm sure all the gladiators don't want Zamfara to be on fire. Now, must you be on the same party to achieve that? No. You see, so that's why we are questioning the union. It's not a holy union.
Okay, so how do you intend, to displace?
Now look at
this block that seems to be very, very solid with all these gladiators there.
To me, it's not a problem politically, because
how do you intend to do it very quickly?
You see, engaging the people, the right policies, the gladiators don't really matter now. The governor himself is the key person. What has he done to salvage the situation? You see, politics is changing. Very soon,
it's not about individuals. People must come together.
Yeah, all the same. Individuals would matter in this election. You understand? But even though unions, parties will still matter, but now individuals would matter in this election. Now, what has the governor done to warrant a second term? That's the question we should be asking. What has he provided to the people?
Okay.
What, you see, when you look about the development indices in Zamfara State right now, it's nothing to write about.
Okay, I wish we could go on, but time is really not on our side. We hope to engage more because this is a continuous conversation, especially as we head towards 2023. Thank you very much, Honorable Suleiman Gumi, for talking to us on daily politics.
Thank you very much.
We also appreciate you, Dr. Mikael Barau, for your perspectives on the subject matter. We appreciate your contributions.
Very much, and I must say that I'm right now in community engaging with the people ahead of the Eid al-Kabir, and I think it's really a very critical requirement for cohesion.
Thank you.
And,
thank you. Thank you very much. On behalf of our guests and technical crew, this is where we come to the end of the program. I'm Shafiu Suleiman, thanking you for investing your time with us.